Hello, my name is Dohyeon and I am PhD student in HCI's lab in Gwangju Institute of Science and Technology. The paper for this presentation is toward immersive self-driving simulations, reports from a user study across 6 platforms. I would like to introduce our novel mixed reality automotive driving simulator MAXIM, which stands for Mixed Reality Automotive Driving Simulation. We find how visual and motion configurations affect experience in autonomous driving simulators by comparing 5 self-driving simulation platforms. Human autonomous vehicle interaction research frequently examines user experience in self-driving cars or tests new in-vehicle interfaces. However, conducting such tests in self-driving cars presents significant regulatory and safety concerns. To circumvent these concerns, researchers often rely on driving simulators, which allow them to construct safe, ethical, replicable, and controlled environments. For example, driving simulators have been used for research on takeover request, trust in autonomous vehicles, and driver behavior in self-driving cars. In manual driving simulators, it is easy to immerse in the driving situation. On the other hand, in autonomous driving simulators, it is difficult to immerse in the driving situation because participants experience the driving situation without driving control. Accordingly, in order to increase immersion in the autonomous driving situation, there have been studies to implement the autonomous driving situation in a real vehicle. For example, in rods and marionette platforms, to maintain the illusion of an autonomous vehicle, researchers hide the wizard by installing a partition between the driver's seat and the front passenger seat. Vroom is a wizard of autonomous driving simulation platform that connects the subject to a pre-constructed virtual reality environment in which the subject cannot see the wizard driver. Despite the value of self-driving simulations for human autonomous vehicle research and the strong correlation between driver behavior and simulation fidelity, few studies have investigated their validity. Our attention is to the extent user experience and user interface research in self-driving simulations yield the same result as in real autonomous vehicles. Therefore, we test how well simulations replicate sensory information and create the illusion of being in an autonomous vehicle. So we classify the existing 4 types of virtual reality-based simulators and the 2 types of mixed reality-based simulators that we propose according to the expected visual fidelity and motion fidelity. And we measure presence and simulator thickness and validate 6 self-driving simulations. We constructed 6 simulators with different visual and motion settings. The graph shows the axis setup in each simulator according to the expected visual and motion fidelity. In visual configuration, MS means is a multi-screen, VR means virtual reality through VR HMD, MR means mixed reality through VR HMD. In motion configuration, NM means no motion feedback, MP means motion feedback through motion platform, RV means motion feedback through rear vehicle. Based on this graph, we investigated how those different settings increase or decrease the validity of self-driving simulators in terms of fidelity, presence, and simulator thickness. Simulator A consists of computer graphics VR with no motion. Participants wear a VR HMD and sit on a fixed seat. Participant viewpoint is from the driver's seat of the virtual vehicle. Their visual experience includes the pre-constructed computer graphics virtual environment, and no motion cues are provided during the simulation experience. Simulator B is a multi-screen with motion platform. This configuration is the most popular and commercialized setting. Participants located in the driver's seat do not wear a HMD, but see the computer graphics environments on the screen. In our platform, the screen consists of the 3 monitors. The motion platform gives kinesthetic feedback that corresponds to movement in the virtual environment. Simulator C is a computer graphics VR with motion platform. Participants wear a VR HMD and sit on a motion platform to experience virtual vehicle movements. In the computer graphics VR space, they are situated in the driver's seat. While driving, they experience CG visuals and physical motion feedback from the motion platform. Simulator D is a real-world mixed reality with motion platform. In this platform, participants wear VR HMD and sit on a motion platform. Their visual experience includes the computer graphics-based virtual vehicle and real-world surrounding environments recorded on a real road. We thus call a platform mixed reality. The platform gives kinesthetic feedback based on the real vehicle movement recorded simultaneously with the video. In this simulation configuration, participants see real images and feel motion cues provided by the motion platform. Simulator E is a computer graphics VR with real vehicle. We construct this platform following the work of Cornell University. In the platform, participants wear a VR HMD and sit in the front passenger seat of a real vehicle. The subjects see themselves sitting in a virtual vehicle surrounded by a computer graphics environment. The virtual environment models the real-world space in the same site and reflects the movement of the real vehicle driven by wizard driver. Participants see a virtual environment while feeling real kinesthetic feedback of a real vehicle. This is our novel simulator F, real-world mixed reality with real vehicle. We introduced a mixed reality automotive driving simulator, the MAXIM platform. The platform simulates the experience of being in a self-driving car with mixed reality technologies and the Wizard of Oz method. Subjects wearing the VR HMD sit in the passenger seat of the real vehicle. In the virtual reality space, participants find themselves in the driver's seat of the virtual vehicle. Participants thus experience the movement of the real vehicle during the simulation. The VR HMD, meanwhile, displays real road environments on the virtual screen that surround the virtual vehicle streamed from the front and rear 360-degree cameras. Participants thus feel the illusion of being situated in an autonomous vehicle. On-road experiments are conducted on a real road in a university campus. The virtual reality road environment was modeled over a section of a university campus with the same site. Participants experienced driving about 550 meters straight from the starting point. Participants first did a simulator training session to adapt themselves to the simulation. Alleviating simulation sickness, they were allowed to freely explore the interior and watching the surrounding environment for about 1.5 minutes. The vehicle then started and drove the route. The driving scenario consisted of deceleration and acceleration, 4 speed bumps, and 2 lane changes. To validate the 6 platforms, we conducted a user study with 20 subjects. Participants ranged in age from 20 to 31. After each simulation, participants rested until they didn't feel any sickness or fatigue and were asked to answer post-questionnaires assessing their visual motion fidelities, presence, and simulator sickness. 6 autonomous driving simulations were designed with varying degrees of visual and motion fidelities. We checked through the user study whether the expected results were correct according to the expected visual and motion fidelity, and how the presence and simulator sickness of each simulator appeared according to the visual and motion configurations. First, to see the effect of motion configuration, comparing when there is no motion and when there is motion through the motion platform. The existence of motion feedback significantly increased the visual and motion fidelity and presence, and significantly decreased the simulator sickness. Comparing motion through motion platform and rear vehicle. Motion generated by the rear vehicle significantly increased both motion fidelity and presence. Though no significant increase in visual fidelity or simulator sickness was found between the motion platform and the rear vehicle. Second, to check the effect of visual configuration, we compared providing visual information through multi-screen and through VR. The use of VR HMD increased the motion fidelity at a significant level. However, no significant increase in visual fidelity, presence, and simulator thickness were found between multi-screen and VR-HMD. Comparing providing visual information through VR and MR. The use of real-world image MR instead of computer graphics VR significantly increased the visual and motion fidelities and presence, while significantly reducing simulator thickness only when equipped with real vehicle motion configurations. For validation, this study is the first comparative evaluation of results over the 6 platforms. The novel self-driving simulator F was first introduced and evaluated through this study, and showed the highest visual and motion fidelities and presence, and relatively low simulator thickness. In the interest of time, I want to go into detail here, but we want to acknowledge that our findings for simulators B and C are consistent with their common use in non-self-driving situations. The next 3 simulators can be used in autonomous driving situations. Simulator D allows a safe, indoor, exactly reproducible MR experiment for risky, challenging, or experimental self-driving scenarios while immersed in photorealistic outdoor environments with a full inclusion of visual distractive factors. The simulator fits better with studies investigating individual differences with regard to repeated photorealistic self-driving situations that the other MR simulator F with a wizard driver cannot provide. Simulator E enables VR driving simulation in a vehicle as it travels on a road. This platform provides study participants rich motion sensation and ambient sound from actual road driving, which other indoor self-driving simulators cannot. Nonetheless, studies using this platform shouldn't necessarily discuss potential issues caused by the perceptual discrepancy between perceived visual fidelity and perceived motion fidelity. The novel simulator app allows participants to engage in one of the most realistic self-driving environments in mixed reality technology, and is probably the only platform that allows studies on naturalistic interactions between the real-world environment and study participants. We can incorporate natural reactions of pedestrians and other adjacent cars, for instance, to study participants' actions. The simulator is thus free from the potential perceptual discrepancy between perceived visual fidelity and perceived motion fidelity, and shows lower simulator thickness compared to the other in-vehicle simulator. Simulator F is also further applicable toward collecting participants' experience annotated with their physiological responses, real-world environment view, driving status, and corresponding geographical data from self-driving sensors while it is driven safely by a wizard driver. In this paper, we compared the validity of 6 self-driving simulators with different visual and motion configurations. Our pairwise comparison suggests how to design valid self-driving simulators to wield simulators with better presence and lower simulator thickness. The use of virtual reality-induced increased visual and motion fidelities. The multi-screen and motion platform-based simulator was rated to have the lowest simulator thickness, providing pertinent motion-related thickness while increasing overall presence. The simultaneous use of natural visual and motion experience also increased visual and motion fidelities and the sense of presence. However, the disparity between the motion perceived from a subject visual cognition system and from the vestibular system resulted in breaking presence, which decreases presence of the simulation environment and increases simulator thickness. Given the research usage of self-driving simulators, we set visual and motion fidelities, presence, and simulator thickness to be the dimensions of validation. Meanwhile, the in-vehicle simulation platform with video see-through streaming of real-world environment, the MAXIM platform we propose in this paper, ranked highest on visual and motion fidelities and sense of presence. Thank you for listening to my presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us.